My name is Livia Firth, and I'm on a journey into supply chains all over the world, in search of better ways of doing business on behalf of all people and this planet we call home. Now my path has led me here, to the beautiful country of Botswana, to learn firsthand about the impact of diamond mining in a country that has unearthed some of the world's most precious stones. I wanted to find out whether an industry that is historically contentious can be made to work in favor of people and the planet.
The Botswana history is that we were the poorest country in Africa, and diamonds were discovered just after independence. And the structures that were put in place at that time have benefited Botswana going forward. I'll talk about myself personally. I'm a born Botswana, I've schooled in Botswana, and I've gone to university in Botswana, and it's all because of the diamonds that have created the schools that I've actually schooled at, and even the employment, right? So I've worked my entire life here.
Nazeem has become widely respected as a passionate leader with true vision. In an industry historically led by men, she has worked to become the first ever female managing director of the Karowe mine here in Botswana.
This mine that you're at right now is the only mine that has recovered 2 stones in excess of 1,000 carats.
Wow.
So we're really proud about that in the world.
Do you think I can find one today?
You can try. I'm not too sure. I've tried, I haven't found anything yet.
Striking gold or discovering oil or diamonds has turned into a tragedy in many countries. What should have been good fortune resulted in inequality, instability, and in some cases, conflict. But since diamonds were discovered in Botswana after independence in 1967, a different story has emerged, and the country has been working hard to turn natural good fortune into a model of resource-based development. What is the biggest misconception of the diamond industry?
That the diamonds are taken out and make a few people rich. And that's why we love it when people come here. The empowerment, the economic, socio-economic empowerment that's happening as a result of diamonds in Botswana is a test of what can be done. I am a product of the diamond industry. Everybody that you meet in Botswana is a product of it because it's been our heart and soul. It took us from being the 3rd poorest country in Africa to being probably the most successful medium-sized economies.
So for every $1 of diamonds sold, 80.2% goes back to the government of Botswana. So if you sell $1 million, that's 802,000 that goes back to the government. And in Botswana, what happens is that all government revenues from minerals are put into a central pool, and then it's used for the development of the country.
Obviously, a diamond mine is a finite, has a shelf life. So at some point, it will stop producing diamonds. What is the plan after that? What happens after that when a country gets, is born on the premise of, the diamond mining is financing the development of the country, and then the diamond mining doesn't exist anymore?
So this is the time for us to really use the resources to develop the country in such a way that we can now grow our economy and use that to really create other sustainable industries that are away from the mining industry.
One of the best ways to understand the impact of any industry is to listen to those on the ground floor of the operations themselves. I met a gardener who trained to become a crane operator, a janitor who was the first to ace a first aid exam, now on track to become a safety instructor, a local intern who worked his way to become a mining engineer, and a woman who operates the biggest truck I've ever seen. So how many years have you been operating the truck?
I have been operating this truck for 18 years.
18?
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, 18 years.
And how do you feel about your work? Like, are you proud of it?
Yes, I'm really proud of it because, firstly, when we are working in this area, the people, they think maybe this kind of operating trucks can be done by a male only, but even us female, we are capable to do it.
Here in Botswana, there is a striking sense of hope and possibility, not just because of the jobs, but the path to a bigger future for the people working them. How do you work with the local communities? I saw you in operation, talking to the chief and talking to the local stakeholders and bringing them, seeking their approval, bringing them on board. Why is it so important for you?
Well, it's important in any country to consult with the people that you're working with. And for us, the communities are the biggest areas to work with, specifically because, most of the mining areas are in remote areas. So because you're working with the communities in that areas, you understand exactly what their needs are. And for me, what's important is, yes, we are a mining entity, we're employing people, but it's not the employment at the mine. I mean, that's given. You will always employ people at an operation. But it's what will happen to those communities after the mine has closed down. And a diamond mine has a life, and it's what about those communities after that. It's not about the job, because the job will never sustain it, but it's about what will happen to those communities once we go. And the reason we have to consult those communities, they are the ones that understand what they're lacking. And it's important to consult with them to understand what is sustainable going forward.
The sheen and success of the diamond industry shouldn't mask the severity of challenges that become critical issues as they are intensified by the global climate emergency. Botswana faces a looming water crisis. The major mines are sited in water-stressed areas, and food scarcity is a continuing problem. I visit the Mokubiyo Community Garden project, dedicated to facing this challenge. Working alongside community leaders, one mining company has partnered to fund a community garden to provide much-needed food and job training.
This project came as an idea from the Mukubilo village residents. The government realized that there was malnutrition within the sub-district. Today, we see a project which have created employment in the village. We see a project that have got men and women working here. They've got somewhere to go, they can feed their families. Our main aim is to develop a human being. If you develop a human being, you train them, you show them what to do, then they'll be able to feed themselves. And we are also empowering them to say they shouldn't work in this farm forever. They are here to learn, to take few tips, to go and start their own business.
In Orapa, another mining company has built a school for the community, offering high-quality education to children of the employees and local residents.
I am a teacher and also a supervisor, being a senior teacher, but mainly I'm a class teacher. I teach standard 5.
Since you grew up here as a student, what is your perspective on what's happening here in Botswana? What would have happened if the diamond mining wasn't here? What would have happened to your parents and to you?
I don't think I even want to imagine that. Honestly, the mine has provided opportunities that would not have been there otherwise. Botswana, as you notice, is still a developing country, and these mines, the mine is doing a lot. And our kids get an opportunity to work with the computers where other kids don't get that. So it is really exciting, as I said. We are a little bit ahead compared to other schools. Our children go for music. We have a huge library that has computers as well as books. Because of the diamond mining industry, you'll notice that a lot of young Botswana have gone to school abroad. It wouldn't have been possible otherwise.
Even sustainable mining practices have an impact on the environments where they operate. Here in Botswana, it seems like great care has been taken to protect the land, the local residents, and the endangered species who call it home.
The mine established this as recreational facilities and at the same time playing a role of protecting biodiversity. Things like, let me say, endangered species as well. Things like rhinos, leopards are also here, which are rare species. Vultures, which are also here. Some of them are rare species, and the park is actually looking after that or protecting that or monitoring that. So if the mine was not here, I don't think the area could be existing. Even the animals which we see here, I think they could be not here.
Wow.
How many carats is this?
1,758, the largest diamond ever recovered in Botswana so far.
Thank you.
It's extraordinary.
It is. So that's what pays
Thank
for
you
our
so
schools
much.
and our health.
Where did you put the stone?
You say you're from Italy?
The partnership between a government and foreign investment and corporations, it happens everywhere in the world. But what doesn't happen very often, and what I found very remarkable in Botswana, is that also that there is a third stakeholder, which is your country and the people of your country.
Well, I guess it's really a blueprint of excellence. That's what we want to perceive it as. And excellence is not a crowd event. Not everybody comes to the party. And so you only realize excellence usually after a lot of hard work, and that's why we're so keen to diversify. That's why we're so keen to improve the value chain. And that's why we're so keen to ensure that we unlock more value domestically for our people. So ethics is critical. Environmental stewardship is critical. Human rights and workers' rights are critical. And what you actually do with the proceeds of what you get is telling of who you are and what values you hold. Look around. We do have challenges. We admit them, and we want to face them head on.
So what is the unfinished business? Like, what is still to come in the future?
Oh, we're a long way from finished. It's a journey. Because at the end of the day, consumers want to know more. They're much more discerning about where is this product coming from? Who is it going to affect? And should I feel good about it? We always say that the diamond you wear is forever. But in the ground, there's only so much. So you are taking a finite resource from the ground and being part of a good feeling of wearing that, because it's created people like myself. It's created a community. It's created countries.
Coming to Botswana, I was nervous that I would find the imbalance I've witnessed elsewhere. When a single industry generates wealth and has disproportionate power, it can be very dangerous. In Bangladesh and other fast fashion hotspots, I've seen corporations abuse their power over a dependent economy and cut and run without any real exit plan. But here in Botswana, I've seen a picture of what can happen when business operates in partnership with government and civil society, making long-term investments in collaboration with local communities, and ensure that the benefits are truly shared with those on the ground. I came here to look at a single supply chain, but as my visit ends, I wonder if Botswana represents something even bigger. A new vision for doing business, and if so, it is certainly something that should be protected with vigilance and integrity.